Do you have problems thinking in English? Do you think it is impossible to think in English? So watch this video and learn 3 reasons why you can't think in English. Coming up. Hey friends, Teacher Prix here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. First of all, thank you so much for joining me on another English lesson. From Monday to Friday, I have many different kinds of English lessons to help you become a better and more confident English speaker. So consider subscribing because this is a very nice channel, you know. Anyway, first reason why you can't think in English is you study or have studied English for a very long time in your native language. Yes, my friends, sorry about that. Many English learners get too comfortable studying English and getting explanations, watching videos about English and English grammar, English lessons in their native language. As time goes by, they realize they can't think in English or speak English without constantly thinking in their native language and translating every single time they have to speak English. If you want to think in English, you will need to change your study habits. And this is important because we are never going to be native English speakers, okay? Thinking in English doesn't come naturally to us. So it is very important to nourish this practice. And if you spend too much time studying English in your language, you're not going to get the necessary exposure to the English language. That's why you probably get stuck many times, or every time you need to do something in English, you think in your language first, okay? I'm not saying that by thinking in English you will achieve native English speaking. That's not going to happen. We're always going to make a mistake here or misunderstand something there, and it's okay. But as you build up this skill of thinking in English, you will begin to remember words faster, okay? And the words will come more naturally to you. And consequently, you will get less stuck. So spend more time studying English in English rather than studying English in your native language, okay? There's nothing wrong with watching a teacher you enjoy from your country speaking in your language, talking about English. But at some point, you need to step up your game and you need to spend more time with English than with your native language, okay? Reason number 2. You translate words instead of trying to understand them. Tell me something. What is the first thing you do when you come across a word you don't know? A. Do you look up the explanation in English of that word? B. Do you look up the translation of that word? C. You don't even bother. You just mind your own business. Guys, why am I asking you this? I believe this will determine how long it is going to take you to think in English. Why? Because the less contact you have with the English language, the more difficult it'll be to think in English and to speak English, okay? Now, why am I a firm believer that thinking in English can help you speak English more clearly and more quickly? Because everything happens in the brain. And when you are able to master your ideas mentally, they can come out, okay? So mental practice will definitely help you speak more clearly because everything starts in the mind, okay? So the more associations you have with your language, the more difficult it'll be for you to interact with English. And another thing that happens is you end up having this collection of words you know in your language that you know the translation of, but by the time you have to use those words, you can't because these words are in your language and you haven't figured out how to use them in English because you didn't get access to explanations of those words. And this practice of understanding explanations will help you speak more clearly, because it's better to understand than to just know translations, okay? This is a kind of practice that I always do with my students, with my private students, and with my students in the academy. I don't give them translations, especially because I have people from all over the world in my online English program. But rather, I give them explanations. I encourage them to find explanations to the words and come up with examples in English using those words. That is a much more productive exercise that will stimulate English and will not encourage translation, so that you don't get stuck as much during conversations in English, okay? Now, before I move on to reason number 3, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. From Monday to Friday, I have many different kinds of English lessons, and I'm sure they're definitely going to help you. And if you are already subscribed, thank you so much. Make sure to share this lesson with your friends on your social media. Now, to reason number 3. You started trying to think in English, but unfortunately, you weren't consistent and you stopped practicing way too soon. Has this happened to you? Have you tried thinking in English but gave up along the way? Let me know here in the comments. I love when you guys participate. Guys, thinking in English, as I said during this video, is not a natural process. You're not gonna wake up one beautiful morning, feeling inspired, and thinking in English just naturally. No, this is not natural. It's a skill that you will need to master. And to master a skill, to develop a skill, you will need to do this practice for a period of time, for quite a long period of time actually, okay? This is not an overnight process. Don't expect to be thinking after a month of practice. This is an ongoing process. This is something that you need to do on a continuous basis if you want to build up this ability of thinking in English and consequently speaking English more easily, okay? So just spending a few weeks or even a few months trying to think in English, that's just the beginning of the process, okay? In my opinion, this is something that you never stop doing, that you should never stop doing. That's why many English learners end up not thinking in English, because they give it a try, they give it a go, but after 2-3 weeks, when they don't feel like, oh my God, nothing's happening, they quit, they stop. And that's not how it should go. Thinking in English should be an ongoing process, an ongoing practice, if you want to improve your English skills and speak English more clearly. Anyway, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Make sure to hit the like button and share it with your friends. And here in the comments, participate. Let me know what you think. I love it when you guys share your opinions and insight with me in the comments. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!